Welcome everybody. Today, amongst good music, which is no, it's not copyrighted. It's only Cantate 6 in G minor. Wait, but today, what we have all here in front of us, I'm gonna make some stuff happen. Now, this is your casual, a little bit dirty, but casual 10W, which means 10 watts light. It's an LLR 10 watt 120 WW lifelike LED reflector, which is supposed to be from 100 to 240 volt ampere current. Basically, lots of angry pixies make this go shine. Now, I put on this wacky connector on, but I'm gonna replace it with a switch and with a professional end hammer. So, and we're gonna test it out with our little snaky snake over here. What you need a voltaic screwdriver, which you can get from any shop you can. There's lots of different things. You only use this because the tip is the exact size that we need. Otherwise, we can use a different screwdriver, we can use a replaceable screwdriver, we can use all the bits and bobs that we have. You will also need one pair of, oh, these are broken pliers. I'm gonna need to replace those. You're gonna need one pair of X-Acto knives, but I think this is not my best, but the duller the better, because the more safety. And of course you can have your handy dandy cable cutter. Snip, snip, snip! So, let's get to it. Point 1, disassemble this old junk. I put this on as a temporary measure, but it says open, push together to open. Now, you get your screwdriver, which is really dandy handy. You put it there, and you put it there if they really want to. Keeps there and it poof, slides off. Now I'm in Europe, okay guys? I'm in Europe, so this is a European standard. Let's choose the appropriate amount of bitage, which is a flathead screwdriver, which is the worst of course, but it's all of them because this is about 1920s, 1930s patent, and this is too wide for that, so I will need to use a little one. Unscrew it now. Because this isn't connected to anywhere, not gonna hurt you, okay? You don't have to be safety Sally and wear gloves. This. And then unscrew everything so it unattaches itself from the main thing. Blue and brown. Blue is the neutral, brown is the live wire, and the yellow greenish thingy majiggy is ground. That's European standard for you. If you see black and brown, now there, that's a house that was built long ago. But this is a new construction stuff. This LED is like what, 5 to 7 years old technology? So, pull this out. Actually, it's a single sensor, so it's not multiple LEDs, but you can see the little dots inside the epoxy that they made. Now, these cables, always check your cable, okay guys? Always check your cable. And I know I'm probably echoing, because I'm listening to it. I like listening to Baroque music, because it helps you learn. So, always check your cable. This is what came with the factory stuff. Now, these have soldering on them, but they're not that bad of a shape, but give them a couple of squeezes. See if they crumble. If they crumble, then you need to cut it back and resolder it. If they don't crumble, they just squeeze a little bit, then it's perfectly good. These are also double insulated polyethylene, which is fire resistant to a certain degree. Now, the main point I have here is this little switchmadoo, which is like 30 cents. But some electricians, when you ask for your lamp to be switchable on the cable. They say like, oh, that'll be 10 pounds for the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, flip yourself a burger. This costs you 20 cents maybe if you have the bulk order, you know, preference. The electronics hardware. It has 2 screws. The Famatel reference number 4403. It's rated for 250 volts. It doesn't rate for amperes, but who cares about those angry pixels, right? They're not the things that make this work. Pull it apart lightly. Don't pull it apart highly. Now, there comes an interesting thing. This is a 2-pole switch. There's no place for ground here. You could, in theory, put it somewhere around it, but that gives too much of a hassle that it might ground fault. So, for this operation, you need to leave the ground wire off. This doesn't need to be grounded unless it's fixed to something. Now, because I'm gonna use this on an extension cord all the time, it doesn't need to be grounded. And because I can trim this back anytime I want, so I just snip it off. And what I don't have right here, I might have this, I think, too. Hey, you know, right here. So, grab your favorite or least favorite amount of tape and put it into it. We're gonna kill it. This is brand new roll, so smells of PVC. So bad. Actually, it's not even PVC. Vinyl again. And yes, it's not PVC. Hey, we don't have PVC cables anymore. Grab a handful of it, cut it. Don't fucking bullshit. Don't pull it and jinx it. Cut it. Gently roll over multiple times. I know it's the ground wire and nobody gives a shit about it, but still. It's better to be safe than safe. Now, because this is actual battery point, and this is the amount of cable we have. You see my discrepancy? If I put it on this side, I cannot hold these 2 cables. I could wrap tons of scotch tape around it, but I prefer not to. So I'm gonna check how much I need to cut off. And I'm gonna cut off about half of these. Plus a little. Half of them plus half a centimeter or a 1/4 of an inch. Like that. If you're like that, I don't like that. And you take your X-Acto knife, roll it around the whole cable, twist the cable with the knife, then you just pull it off. There you have it, blank wires. Hold your thumbs, twist the cable. When you twist the cable the other way, it just comes off so easily. Wants to. Then you twist the cable itself, the actual copper cable. So, 0.75 cross millimeter. That word. Because you only are interested in the cable's cross dimension. You don't care what's the radius of it. Diameter. Now in England or US, you got more lazy and you just number them like gauge 11, gauge 10, gauge 15. I guess the higher the gauge, the thicker the wire. I think, yes, but you can definitely correct me on. Now here, I think gauge 10 or 12 is the one I'm using here. If it's not on the cable, actually it's usually marked on the side of the cable, like on this one. It says 3G 0.75 millimeters. Means it's a 3G cable. Oh, you don't use 5G anymore. I don't care. So, you take the same amount of cable that you need, plus a little, and then you just do the same thing. Roll the cable around, keep the knife safe. When you stretch the cable, stretch the cable, bend the cable, see where you cut it off and where you didn't. So where you didn't, go over it again. Therefore, you're only cutting off the outside skin and not the inside skin of the cable. And when it's still bad, then you know that you have the worst knife of your life. And increasing the pressure will increase the cut. You don't need to make it any harder, just a little bit more pressure. It comes with practice. I've been out of practice long, and you can see I actually cut the ground but not the other two wires. That's why people don't use these, because they usually have some this. They grab something like this, which has a scaled cleaner and a crimper and many other features, and they just pull it onto the correct size, push it, pull it, open. Isn't that much easier than wasting your life with something not supposed to? And that's all. It's one fell move. Now we don't need the ground again. So what are we gonna do with it? Well, we're gonna cut it back. We not did that. We don't need that. We don't need that, comrade. Now, we basically unscrew everything on this, but not totally, of course. You only unscrew the hold it down bitties. And because this is a screw-in mechanism, which I like way better than the pull in and tug on it. This, you know how much force you put on the screw, and you can see the screw biting the cable. Now what's interesting, you can always see which way it clicks on. Now it clicks on this way, sorry. You can see where it clicks on because there's a little lever here, and one side it's up and the other side it's down. When it's down, then it's connected. We also measured it out. Multimeter. So grab the least favorite multimeter of yours. It's a digital multimeter. Put it to contact. Check for contact. It does contact. Now, two screws, it's on, it's off. It's on, it's off. That's as simple as it is. So now you know which way it turns, because there's ain't more annoying than having a connector that turns the other way. And I'm looking at you English folk who turn on the light by pulling the switch down. Ridiculous. Now, we have everything screwed out. We want the turn to go towards the thing, because we switch on the nasty little gymnasts fairies into it, and we want to stop the flow, we stop outward it. Simple logic, not everybody understands. So, position your cables before you try to pull them in. Put your stuff together, pull them in at once. Both of them together. If you do one cable and then try to jiggle the other one, maybe try jiggling it with this wire, you're gonna have a horrible nightmare at the end of the night, at the beginning of the night, because that's gonna be so silly. Just pull them in together, hold everything, hold it down. I'm pushing down with my left hand and I'm screwing with my right hand. If you're doing this inside the air, why you're doing it, I wouldn't even know. And then tug on it a little, see if it plays. Then, and now comes the fixie parts. Hold it down bits. Hold it down, screw it in. You're putting a metal screw into plastic here. Don't over tighten. You're not on Titan. Okay? You're not in space where you have torque wrenches flying at hundreds of miles everywhere. Just don't force it. Easy. I put the second wire that we're gonna use. Position them too. And I left again too much, but nobody cares. Check if brown is brown and blue is blue, so we need to turn it over. Push it in. Together now. make sure that your little strands of cable doesn't go whoop-de-woo all over the place. And then screw it down again. Holding down the cable, holding down the screw, pushing down, not just around. Push it down. Sometimes I used to do this on my actual thighs. Then you learn that your thighs are not made for that. And then you stop doing it. So, put the hold it down bit too. Now this one got a bit long, so I'm gonna be a lazy electrician and not care about it, because this is for home use, people, for home use of photography and streaming, so I can light up my face with it for you. So just make sure that you don't exclude any cables like that, like the brown wire got out of the loop there. Pull it off again, put the brown wire back in. Why you don't do it like this? Because you can pull the cables out the wrong way. Pull it back in its place like a good child. Never spank your kids, guys. Show this to your kids. If you're doing any crafting project, something like this is like a 5-minute job. But with a kid, I know it's 15 with a kid, but they will learn something to be adept at. And when they learn to be adept at it, I'm not saying they're gonna be an electrician. They don't have to be. And that has to be told to them. You don't have to be an electrician. This is good work that you get used to fixing stuff around the house. Because guys, I tell you, every time I go to a house where there's a lady or a woman who says, my husband don't do any fixy-uppy stuff. He can't do it. He's a total buffoon. Then I feel ashamed to be a man. No. This is a totally easy work. This is just one switch. It's a simple switch. Now the reason we don't usually do this, because this is way more floppy than if this is on it. Now the way we can solve this is what I forget. So, do it again. If you screw it up, try it again. This is not a screw up. This is just, I was too distracted with dream. So, open it up again. Okay? There ain't nothing you can do that you can't fix. Okay? Remember that. Now the funny part in cables, especially double insulated cables. Ooh! Shall I give you a European code of safety? Somebody will give me an ECAN number. But there's nobody watching, so welcome dear nobody. Oh, we have a viewer. Welcome dear nobody, but that's usually me. Yeah, that's me. So, now I will have 0 viewers. The reason you can solve this little problem is because our other end is empty. So what we can do is open up the other end, just like we did with the first one. And we're gonna pull the cable through, pull the insulation across the whole thing. And you know why? Because it's good for us. It's good for us to pull the cable up. So, can you see how far that outward insulation is? Grab the outside edge, start stroking it. There. Instantly you got it. Now if you have a long cable, of course this takes way more effort. But this way, I earn more cable here, which I know I will need on this part. And I shrinked up the cable here, so now I can put on the gateway. Actually, I'm thinking about, I don't know, it's gonna be okay. Now actually, good tip. Hey fellas, you're screwing into plastic that was screwed into before. Start turning the other way, and when you hear or feel a click, that's where the previous round of screwing was. Don't make a new thread on it. Find the old thread, and then start screwing into it, okay? First find the old thread, it's always better. Because then the plastic doesn't have double threads and it's like 50% less chance of it splitting or breaking apart in 5 years because you basically weakened the part. So, the cover back on it again and screw it in again. Not that big of a deal, see? I fixed it in a minute. And I only screwed it up to show you guys. Make sure you tighten these because this is the most basic cover. It still works, it's loud as fucking hell, but it works. So now, let's take apart this baby. I love these. These are PCE IP44. That means no small objects can get into this thing and no water gets in. So if you have this plugged in to an IP44 connector on the wall, like outside in the rain maybe, this will be watertight. Not completely waterproof, but rain tight. And this is why I love these. And this is like what, a pound, 2 pounds maybe, this, and it's you can put your lawnmower like with these, and it's so easy. Have this and you pull it out. That's it. Now one main thing. Do not ever forget. Put your cover onto your cable before you actually start assembling your plug. And this has a really sturdy mechanism. It was made for 15 amps. This was made to handle high loads. That's why I like it. That's why it's IP44. You can run your garden clipper with this. So again, and of course it has free ones, and I'm gonna attach the ground one just as a measure because I like it like that. Now sometimes on the newer models there is a little indicator of how long of a cable you need to strip in order to fit just perfectly into it, especially on the connectors. I'm going to show you one. Basically this one. Now for these, even these, on the back side you have like, you need to strip a 1mm of wire in order to fit into the fitting that's on it. And that's good, you just put it there, that's how much I need, strip it. Or you set your extra, because there's even more extra clampers like this, which is not like this, but half a second to strip the cable with it. And I understand, when you're doing 50 cables a minute, you're gonna need it. You know, when you're doing a whole electrician's panel, you're gonna need that because it saves you time. Easy, effective. I do not question that. I just don't need to use it right now. So pull in the blue and the brown, which is the line and which is neutral. Does anybody still remember it? Not a problem if you're not, but still. I guess there is no English way to do it. In Hungarian there is a little saying where blue's kicks and brown is fine, gives you the power, but the blue is neutral. But there's always anagrams and sayings that give you and learn this. Now the key point is we all know that the blue takes the current from the brown. Brown beats the machine. You know, the sensory machine over it. Now for the ground wire, even though I do not need to connect it, I usually, out of good habit, put it in, hold it in, Now this takes some practice. Hold a plug like this in your hand and know what you're doing, and do not put screwdriver into. It takes a bit of practice, but you can get used to it in like 10-20 times, and this is why I'm saying teach this to your kids as little as 6 to 7 to 8 year old, because when they learn it then, first of all, they learn a lot quicker when they're that young, and second of all, they will enjoy it more. It will not look like work to them, because they want to know everything that you want to know. That's what I love about kids. They're always curious, way more curious than any adult I ever see. Tug on it, check it. Always double check, because if you do a bad job, that's only your responsibility. So now check where you need to put it over in again, put it in, get the last screw, it's also watertight. So even this screw is watertight and able to hold dropping water, droplets. 0.1 meter water resistant, I guess is what it's calling. And screw it in hard, as much as you can. Cannot go wrong here, okay? Even though if I take the small screwdriver, I can even pull it in until it's... And now, we have our little switch on it. So let's plug it into this. Let's plug it in. Voila! Ooh, nothing exploded! Well, it's about to. Switch it on, it burns the light. If you switch it off, it burns off the light. So, switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, switch on. Check for temperature, people. Check if this gets hot. Doesn't get hot, then it's okay. And that's as easy as it gets. Now, I don't have to plug out all the time that I don't need the lamp. Okay? That's the easiest way to implement an inline switch to a lamp. Now, because this is a 10-watt lamp, I'm happily using this. This is rated, I think, 5 to 10 amperes. Because it's made of plastic, it has this different spacing, it's all about that, and this is up to 100 watts, as I remember, yes. 100 watts, it can take one little lamp. Now, because little lamps have 100-watt bulbs maximum, this can and has to take at least 120 watts. But let's say it's rated for 100. This is a 10-watt lamp, so it's 10% of what's capable of resisting short circuit. Put something really big on it, it will short circuit and it will wreck anything that's behind it. Don't be a stupid people, okay? Now take your old plug, pull it together, close it up so it doesn't get lost, and throw it the fuck out of it, okay? We don't need old tech. That's a shitty piece of plastic. Take it back wherever it belongs. Never use it again. Use good stuff. That one costs 10 cents, this one costs £1. Would you like to be fucked over by the other one? Or would you like to have a pleasant experience because of this sleeve, way easier to pull out from the hardest of inlets. And it's smooth and it feels good. And plug it into a totally new extender cable and it feels good. It feels good. It's perfectly aligned. The edges are not looking like that, not looking like that, not looking like that. Perfectly straight. This is a hardened plastic. Glass reinforcement. Has the CE logo on it. It's 16 by 250 05. That's what it is. Actually, I think this is by IMA, your OVE, DVE, T. So it's hammer resistant. This, I can even hammer on this. And nothing happens because this is glass free. Okay? This is worth the money on everything you have. Even though this is just a 10-watt lamp, I know I'm gonna abuse this. And we, guys, in the shop, in the garage, we know we're gonna abuse plugs. But buy something that can last for 50 years. That little thing was made for 2 to 5 years of use. A cable lives longer than that. The electricity lives longer than that. The LED lives for 50 years. The glass lives for 50 years. The metal lives for 500 years. Why would I put a 5-year plug on it? This one, these are new ones, not the old ones. The old ones were ceramic and bakelite even. They were not that good. Now it's 50 years later and I want to change the plastic every bakelite I get. But hey, this is a pound, this 2 pounds. 2 pounds for every light. Ooh, but I have 50 that side little desk lamps, so that's gonna be 100 pounds. But that's gonna be 100 pounds well spent. Okay? That's gonna last you for 50 years. Divide the 100 pounds by 50 and you get 2 pounds per year. It's safe, it's usable, it's resistant, and it's comfortable. Can you pay 2 pounds every year for 50 years to be comfortable for 50 of your lamps in your home? And let's say 5 minutes to switch each of them. 50 times 5 is easy. 2500. You're gonna spend 2500 minutes on it. If I take my calculator, because I hate the number rule 60, 25, 5 times 50, 250. And divide that by 60, so that's 4 hours. You're gonna take an afternoon or 2 to switch all your lamps, proper plugs and proper switches. But that 4 hours will last you for 50 years of use. I think that's a worthy amount of investment. And that's why I'm saying, do it yourself, craft it yourself, and be handy dandy. Light up your world with everything you can, everything you have, and make your life as comfortable as you can. And man, for that 4 hours, an electrician, first of all, will fucking laugh at you. What? You wanna switch 50 of these? I'm not gonna do that. Would be 5 hours, but they charge what, 50 an hour? It's gonna be 200 pounds, right? Plus the 100 pounds that takes in materials, so it's gonna be 300 pounds. Would you work for 4 hours or would you pay 300 pounds for it? Totally up to you. Definitely your choice. I'm not saying one or the other is better. I'm just saying, if you want to learn something, if you want to practice something, and you want to be able to do it yourself, and you don't have anyone, an electrician, guide you, then you can do it. I just showed you how easy it is. Keep the cables right, the cable steady, pull the insulation, fix the insulation and not just the cables, and you're fine. Make sure you use a dull knife, not a new X-Acto knife. That's gonna ruin your day. You're gonna cut through everything. And basically that's it. That's all there is to it. So have happy crafting for everybody. And I will probably be back later. Thank you for watching. By not watching it. Welcome to all the robots of the internet. I will be back with other content. Enjoy your crafting!